Greetings, beautiful souls. Welcome to 5D Life, where we are thriving in a life filled with love and happiness. Now, there are so many new things we are learning to add into our life, and so many things we are learning to pay attention in our life. So today I want to focus on the language of light, because in about a week, on the September 5, I start teaching a new class of the language of light. And we may ask, how does language of light will improve our life in that fifth-dimensional frequency? If we all learn to speak what will sound maybe gibberish, would our life be different? Would that new earth feeling will be different? The answer is no, it won't. Language of light is something that has to come from your heart, from the memory within your soul, and then you share a spoken form with everybody around you. However, there are many other forms of the language of light, or better says, many other parts of language of light that make this language of light a wholeness. So in my classes, I spread it into three different important parts. The one is to focus on the pictures and the colors. It is that silent language of light, when you can start paying attention or express yourself through the symbolism. This perfect example is the hieroglyphs and the pictures from the ancient Egypt. They still hold so much of mystery for us, and some of them has been, beautifully translated. And sometimes people realize that it may be totally different translation than what we already know. Why? Because it is the language of light. It is the silent, quiet form, expression of your soul through the beautiful creation of your mind. Because soul brings the knowledge and wisdom, and mind expresses it into physicality. And that is something that we want to learn. We want to learn to start paying attention to these signs and the symbols on our journey. And they can become a beautiful guide to us, where we're going to start applying a new action and reaction process, where we started to learning to follow this very simple signs and the symbols, except of doing our own thing and having a life our own way, and then a few years down the journey realize that it may not be working for us. So in the language of light, you start learning to look at all the symbolism. Now, for example, the triangle. Triangle is the same symbol all around the world. There are many kind of the geometric shapes that we can call the symbols or the symbolisms that keep repeating for the thousands and thousands of years. Why? What did ancients want to tell us? And why they were not explained or written in some sophisticated language that we may not understand today? Because the simplicity is a key in our life. So looking at a triangle, you can call it a triangle, or in the Czech language, you call it trojuhelník, or in the different languages, you call it a different name. But if we see the picture, we are looking exactly the same object, and we all will understand if we're sitting around a round table and we are looking at this one object, and we each of us name it through our language skills, we all agree that is the triangle, and there's no question about it. It's very solid, it's very logical. So that is something I think that we need to start to paying attention, because there's a more and more the crop circles, right, happening. And if you look at it, if are those the extraterrestrial beings, our ancient ancestor, whoever it is trying to communicate with us, they are trying to communicate with us through this way of the symbolism and the geometric shapes, through the form of the language of light. And they do hope that we activate that soul-mind consciousness within us. Our eyes are doorway to the soul-mind consciousness. Your right eye is the eye of your soul, left eye is the eye of your mind. Why? Because your right hemisphere is your creative force, is that right eye of the Ra, that we have the mythology from the Egypt, which is who? The Sekhmet, right? The beautiful feminine Sekhmet. Your left eye, your left side of the brain is your creative, analytical brain. And in the ancient Egypt, we have a mystery school of the horrors, which is depicted by the left eye. So here you have your soul mind consciousness looking literally through your eyes and learning to recognize the symbol, helping you to have that recognition, that feeling, those goosebumps or the emotional parts that are happening to you, saying, hey, pay attention. There is something that will help you on your journey. Next part of the language of light is the sound. Now, we do have several different dialects and several different forms of the language of light. The way I speak, I like to use very much the Pleiadian form. But there are, the differences between Andromedian or Orion or the Syrian. However, when you start speaking those words of the language of light, which in the beginning don't make a sense to you, it is the feeling. You are finding the words for what you are feeling. Here the feeling leads the way. And if you follow my videos, you know that that is the fifth dimensional life. That is that where we can thrive with the love of our soul, the feeling, and the happiness of our mind, where the soul literally becomes the leader on this journey, and the mind brings it into physicality in the most beautiful, happiest kind of the way. However, you do not have to thrive in, speaking this, what we would call the alien language or the language of light. You can just make a sound. You can play with a sound. And you can remember when you were a little child, you would make all those sounds and your mom was probably very annoyed and told you to be quiet, and you still find yourself amused with your own voice. We learn to make a sound, and we like that vibration of the voice, literally within our throat and then within our whole body, or listening the sound, especially the sound, the tuning forks or the crystal balls and so much on. And then you notice that vibration, that every cell within your body has that respond to what you are hearing. So you can create that with your own voice, with the sounds that you used to make as a child, and then tune your body to the different frequency. If you make a small sad sound or baby sound or the different kind of the sounds, it will evoke a different kind of the feelings within you. And based on those feelings, you can bring it into physicality. Sad, depressed feelings creates a sad, depressed reality. And unfortunately, we are all, fortunately, in this case, you would say unfortunately, we are all creator of our reality. Now, if we have these happy talks and happy feelings, of course, we are all like, oh my God, we are so fortunate. We are creating our own reality. So this one is the hard one sometimes to accept, that the way how we feel, it just literally feel our auric field, and our feeling are attracting to people with a very same feeling. Remember, Eckhart Tolle have written about the pain bodies. So whenever it's the pain body or the happy body, that's what you're gonna attract in your reality. And that is the part of the language of light. So that is part of the journey of thriving in that fifth dimensional energy. It is not that we have to all memorize it step by step. We have to understand it and start applying it in our life. That will create a different action and reaction, and your life will change in the matter of the few weeks. If you practice it, if you are diligent in your practice, if you persevere, you will manifest the life that you wanted. But the last part of the language of light is the numbers and a number value of the words, which is the fun kind of the play. But here, simply, I will just stay with the numbers. Numbers are something that we can, literally, in the number sequence, we can written everything what is within this world, if we all would understand that language. And again, 1 and 1 is 2. And that is something that is all around the world. You put 1 and 1 stick and everybody knows that they equal to the 2 sticks. It is something that is valid up here. It is something that is valid within the universe. When we see these crop circles, they are in the geometric shapes. Not only, we perceive the meaning and the depth and so much of these geometric shapes, but they do have a particular number. Like the octagon has 8 sides, right? The triangle has 3 sides. What does number 8 mean? What does number 3 mean? Number 3 is the connection between the past, present, and the future. So whenever I see the triangle, I says, there is something that I need to help to heal from my past to create a different future. Because if I'm going to just dwell in my past and don't make any changes within myself, I'm gonna repeat it into the future. Now, that doesn't mean that we do not feel those sad feelings or the remorse or whatever it is that we have about the past, even plain down anger. But it means to look at it and means to eventually, when you are ready, to make a peace with it. And says, okay, I'm ready. And find all those good parts from it. Really those good things that happened to you. And leave the past into the future and just keep those good things, within your heart. And create a future, whatever it is that you want to create. The past will not define your future at this point. You see the number 8? I love number 8. First of all, if you put it sideways, you have an infinity, right? You have those two eyes connected together in an infinite symbol. Your soul, mind, consciousness. Whenever I see number 8, I also feel like my soul family from the cosmos says, hey Eva, you are doing good. They got your back. Everything is great. And remember, the next year, the Lion's Gate on the August 8 in 2024 will be 888 portal. So our soul family that I will be there says, okay, you got this. You can do it. You can walk through that gate. You can create a new earth. New earth's not going to create itself. It needs you. It needs you, that you evolve, that you change, and that you create the life that you want. It is not that you create a life for the whole city and country and the whole continent. It starts within us. As the Gandhi says, if you want to change the world, you change yourself. So our responsibility to the new earth is now to changing ourselves. And utilizing the language of light is the great way to do it. So again, we don't have to just to sit here and go, which means I'm sending you blessings to your heart. To awaken and to understand it. It means to connect to all aspects of the life and start finding this aspect of the language of light all around you, everywhere around your life. So there's a lot of resources out there. If you would like to join my class, please check my website, sign up for the class. It's gonna be fun for weeks to really observe all the language of light that is already part of your life and then learn how to use it to create a life that you want, that you can thrive in that fifth-dimensional life that is filled with love and happiness. So I wish you well on your journey and hope to see many of you in your class. And remember, if you didn't get my new book yet, it is already out. Embody your cosmic DNA. All right, guys, I love you. Love and light from my heart to yours.